As I sat in the pews, I couldn't help but notice the way Pastor John's eyes sparkled when he talked about love and acceptance. He had always been a kind and compassionate leader, but recently I had begun to suspect that he might be hiding something. One day, after service, I decided to approach him. "Pastor John, can I talk to you about something?" I asked, my heart racing. "Of course, my child," he replied, his warm smile putting me at ease. "I think I know something about you," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Something that could change everything." Pastor John's expression turned serious, and he nodded for me to continue. "I think you might be gay," I said, the word feeling strange on my lips. To my surprise, Pastor John didn't deny it. Instead, he took a deep breath and said, "Yes, my child, I am." I felt like my world had been turned upside down. My pastor, the man I had looked up to for guidance and spiritual leadership, was gay. But as I looked into his eyes, I saw the same kindness, the same love, and the same devotion to God that I had always admired. "Why did you keep it a secret?" I asked, curiosity getting the better of me. "I was afraid of how the congregation would react," he replied, his voice laced with sadness. "I didn't want to lose the opportunity to serve and spread God's message." I felt a surge of anger and frustration on his behalf. Why should he have to hide who he was to lead us? But as I looked around the church, I realized that we were all struggling with our own secrets and fears. "My child," Pastor John said, his voice filled with conviction, "God's love is for everyone, regardless of who we are or who we love. We are all children of God, deserving of love, respect, and compassion." At that moment, I knew that my pastor's sexuality didn't change anything. He was still the same kind, wise, and dedicated leader I had always known. And I realized that our church could be a place where everyone felt welcome, no matter what. As I left the church that day, I felt a sense of pride and admiration for Pastor John's courage and conviction. I realized that his sexuality didn't define him as a person or a leader, and that his message of love and acceptance was more important than ever. But not everyone in the congregation felt the same way. As the news of Pastor John's sexuality spread, some members began to whisper and protest. They claimed that he was no longer fit to lead the church, that he was somehow less of a Christian because of his sexual orientation. I watched in dismay as the church was torn apart by conflict and prejudice. Pastor John tried to reason with them, to explain that his sexuality had nothing to do with his faith or his ability to lead, but they wouldn't listen. One Sunday, the congregation was so divided that they couldn't even hold a service. It was a painful and heartbreaking moment, and I wondered if our church would ever be the same again. But then something remarkable happened. A group of us, led by Pastor John, decided to start a new church, one that would be truly inclusive and welcoming to all. We called it the Open Door Church, and we set out to create a community where everyone could feel valued and loved. It wasn't easy, of course. We faced opposition and criticism from some of our former members, and we had to work hard to build a new congregation. But with Pastor John's leadership and vision, we slowly began to grow and thrive. Today, the Open Door Church is a vibrant and diverse community, where people of all backgrounds and identities can come together to worship and serve. And Pastor John is still our leader, his sexuality no longer a source of conflict, but a reminder of God's love and acceptance. Thanks for watching this episode, and also make time to watch one of our previous videos, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel for subsequent videos.